Hello, my name is Elijah Morgan. I'm from Ganado Baptist Church. I'm 21 years old. I'm called to preach, and I'm also surrendered to the mission field. And I got saved at the age of 9 years old here at my home church, here at Ganado Baptist Church. I was raised mainly in religion and tradition. I was with a Catholic background from my dad's side of the family. And also my mother's side of the family was very traditional with Navajo culture and tradition. But thank the Lord that that my grandmother was there. She's a full surrendered Christian, and when I was coming here to Ganado, I was living with my parents in Window Rock. So I would come here on the weekends, and I would spend my Sundays here at church. And I understood that if I would have died the next day, I would go to hell if I had Jesus Christ inside my heart. And with that, one VBS, Brother Ryan Nez there in Fort Defiance, he led me to the Lord. And I can remember that clear as day, just like as you give a little boy his first knife, I can remember that just like yesterday. And fast forward to my high school years, I felt like I was too cool for church. I became a backslidden Christian and got heavily involved with sports and also worldly influences, my so-called friends. And that got me really deep into trouble with alcohol, drugs, and also a little bit of gang violence as well. And during that time, I was offered a scholarship to go to Fort Lewis to play football. And the Lord gave me an injury for that. They took that away, that scholarship, and then after that, I graduated in the year 22. And after my graduation, I was still heavily involved with worldly influences, and I was on a 2-week drinking ban. I ended up in the hospital with alcohol poisoning, and the doctor said, "You're not going to make it with a young liver like yours. You know, you have consumed too much alcohol." And my white blood cells and my red blood cells were really low. I was given 3 blood transfusions, and the doctor said, "You're not going to make it." And one night, I was in my hospital bed, and I was begging the Lord. I was asking the Lord, if you just please give me one more chance, I want to live for you. But if it's your time, you can take me home. And at that time, I knew I was saved, but I wasn't fully surrendered in His will. And the next day, it was a miracle. The doctor came in, he said, "Elijah, I don't know what happened, but all your results, your blood cell levels are all back to normal. You're all okay. You can get discharged and go back home tonight or either tomorrow." And I was just in shock. And right after that, my grandmother comes in. She's like, "You're going to move back with me, and we're going to church." I said, "Okay, Grandma." And then we came back to church. I started faithfully attending here at Ganado Baptist Church again for a full year. And the devil started putting thoughts in my mind. How are people going to think of you when you come back? And the devil was just putting a whole bunch of thoughts in my mind like that. But once I came here, it was total the opposite. Everyone opened me back with welcome arms, and everyone was just so loving and caring, like I never left. And that just really touched my heart, and I knew that this was my church family. And then after that, a year and a half rolls on, and then Brother Joel has his youth camp there in Nazolini. And at that youth camp, it wasn't just for the kids, the preaching. It was for everybody. And I got to sit in every service, and the Lord was working on my heart to fully surrender, to give my life to Him and live for Him, to wave the white flag. And that's what I did at youth camp 2 years ago. And then after that, fast forward a month later after youth camp, that's when we had our Navajo Land revival here 2 years ago. And Brother Stacy Shiflett came down the first time, and he preached the whole week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And the Lord was just working on my heart. And the second night of the revival, the Lord called me to preach. And I remember the message that Brother Shiflett preached was on Acts 9, the conversion of Paul, and of how Paul was persecuting Christians. He was throwing them in jail way before he got saved. And I was just begging the Lord, Lord, if you want me to do your will, helped me not to back out. And I had no regrets, and once I fully surrendered, I hit the ground running. And then after that, one whole year goes by. Our mission conference at Ganado Baptist Church goes on. And the Lord was again working on my heart to become a missionary. And at that time, I didn't know where. But later on, a few weeks and a few months passed, the Lord started opening doors and started opening stuff about how He wants to make it clear where He wants me to go. And the Lord can take a res boy from the Navajo Nation and put him on a different reservation. The Lord has laid it upon my heart to become a missionary on the Rosebud Reservation up there on the Sioux. Up there on the Sioux, they have a 97% poverty rate, and it's just like that here. But there's people in there who are in darkness, and they need the light. And it's enough time for us here at Navajo land to stop taking the light, and it's time for us to send out the light now. And so I just want to give my short testimony. Got saved at the age of 9. Later on, my later teenage years, the Lord really started working my heart, changed my life around dramatically. I could have been on the streets by now. I could have been an alcoholic, could have been a drug addict, but the Lord turned my life around, and He can do that to yours too.